This is my time, my grind. Promise I'ma do what's right. Open eyes, see the sign.
Hello, my Chunsters. My name is Glen Chun. It's time to have some fun with Wrestlecast, episode 6. It is just me today. Reason for this is tech issues. Mark's computer is just simply not working for him right now, which means he cannot be with us today. He hasn't got the Hangouts app on his phone, I don't believe. But I do have a backup plan to bring you Marvelous Mark Walsh on this show. It won't be happening on this episode today, but what we do have instead, hopefully it'll be whetting your appetite for tonight's pay-per-view. I don't know if you've heard of it, because tonight it is WWE Fastlane 2016. We're going to be doing the predictions for that. I say we, it's me. I'm going to be doing the predictions for that. And on the face of it, this pay-per-view seems to be one of the most predictable pay-per-views in WWE world history. And I'm going to put my prediction on it being predictable to the test by predicting the matches. That's going to be happening, and I hope I got the point across that I'm predicting. Also, we're going to be going to Plug City. Oh, yes, we are. It's going to be a pluggy episode today. We've got 3 shows coming up for you to plug. We've got DWA, we've got LEP, we've got PWA as well. I think, did I say? No, I did. I think I made sure to get DWA across. So we've got all those shows, and we've got the training schools, and we've got the next episode to plug of Wrestlecast, because for the first time in quite some time, I've actually got my ass in gear, and I have arranged a guest a week ahead of time, so I can announce to you the next guest at the end of this show. So, let us waste no further time. The intro is over. It is time to get down to business. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do some plugging first, because then we can sandwich it with some Fastlane. So I'm going to be plugging LEP news for you, because there are a few more matches announced. Because Danny Walsh, the pretty boy, Danny Walsh, is going to be continuing his crusade against his trainees. What he's doing essentially is this. He's going to pick a trainee out, and he's going to face them one-on-one to see what they're actually made of. And he started at LEP 6 with Captain Bobcat, and he's continuing it at LEP 7 with the awesome British boy, Jack Union. That's right, you're going to see the pretty boy, Danny Walsh, taking on Jack Union. This is a match, and now this is a match when I heard about it, I must admit, I was like, yes. This is going to be interesting, because Danny is such a solid wrestler, and Jack, he likes to take to the air, he likes to fly around. He's got some pretty awesome high-flying tricks up his sleeve. Well, he would do if he wore any sleeves, but he has tricks. And the awesome thing is these two are going to clash, and that's going to be fun. That's going to be really good fun to see. I can tell you that much. I'm looking forward to that match. And we also have a couple of other people who will be making appearances to announce. That's what I mean. It's not a huge amount of news yet. But this show is on March the 26th at Babacoon, at St. Anne's Hall on Babacoon Road in Torquay. So there's still plenty of time for more announcements to be made, and there's still plenty of time for me to continue to update you on what's going to be happening in the future. But we have now got 2 other people announced. For instance, you will be seeing Josh Knott, the man who's turned his back on the fans, and the Rocker John Harding. And that's not me getting the name wrong again. This is actually John Harding, and he will be on LEP Show 7. Oh, yes. So Josh Knott and John Harding have both been added to the show. Okay, so Payback. This is what's going to be happening. We've got the full match card here, and this is going to be awesome. We have Edge and Christian interviewing the WWE Tag Team Champions, The New Day, on their own edition of the Cutting Edge Peep Show. Yeah, that's going to happen. Really not too sure how intrigued I am about that. I mean, it's... You know what, actually, I am looking forward to that segment. You know why? Because it's Edge and Christian. And Edge and Christian usually take the take the ball, knock it out the park, and they're two charismatic guys. I mean, they've got their whole network show. So you know what? And the New Day are also highlights, I think, of the current WWE product. So actually, you know what? I am looking forward to seeing what happens there. I think it's very likely as well that the next challengers for the tag team championships will be announced in that segment, so that would be interesting. I think the start of the New Day's WrestleMania feud will be happening in that segment, so that's what I'm interested in. Then we have the kickoff show, which will see a 2 out of 3 falls match for the United States title, which obviously features Kalisto as your United States champion, taking on Alberto Del Rio. I've completely screwed up the pronunciation of that name. I'm very sorry. However, that match is going to be happening now. I'm in two minds as to how I think that's going to go. First of all, it seems as though they're booking that so 50-50. It's literally painful. The WWE seems to be so on the fence as to who they want to go over in the end of this rivalry that they must be getting splinters up their butt cracks over this one. However, I think they have a bit more potential for the United States Championship in Kalisto. And I'm going to go with Kalisto because it seems a bit... I think Kalisto has to emerge from this with the championship. We know for a fact that Alberto has been re-signed to a temporary contract. That seems to be pretty certain. So, yeah. That's what's going to be happening. I think it's going to be Kalisto on that front. But it's quite intriguing that they've put the United States Championship on the kickoff show. Not sure why they've done that, but they have. Then we have the 6-man tag team match, which is going to be Kane, the Big Show, and Ryback versus the Wyatt family. Now, I'm not sure if this is all 4 members of the Wyatt family or just 3 of the 4. But either way, I reckon this is going to go the way of the Wyatt family. The reason being, I believe that they need to really establish the Wyatt family as being powerful. That needs to happen now. They've got to stop dithering about having the Wyatt family losing on pay-per-views. I think a big win against Kane, Big Show, and Ryback will cement the Wyatt family as a dominant faction. And plus, there were rumors of Undertaker versus Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. Apparently, that's not happening anymore. Apparently, the IWC reacted to that extremely badly, and I'm not surprised. But, yeah, you know, for Fastlane, I'm going with the Wyatt family on this one. So, next is the Divas Tag Team match. It's Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch versus Tamina Snuka and Naomi. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm in any doubt over who I think is going to win this one. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. These are 2 of the divas that have been brought up from NXT to help boost the actual WWE main women's division. And to have them just get squashed against Tamina and Naomi, 2 people who I think the WWE is starting to consider the past, or certainly 2 people who have been considered as part of the stagnant part of the Divas era, doesn't make any sense to me. And plus, it seems quite likely that the WWE is going to be going with Charlotte versus Becky versus Sasha at Mania. That's what I've heard rumored. I'm going to go with Sasha and Becky to pick up the win in that one. It's just, I'm not really in any doubt. Now, this match I am looking forward to. Not going to lie, it's Chris Jericho. It's Mr. Y2J versus the phenomenal AJ Styles, whose gloves you can see right there. That's right, I've got AJ's gloves now sort of covering up the Stig's legs on my dresser because I thought it's mainly more wrestling themed. So, yeah, Y2J versus AJ. So what we've had so far, we've had AJ debut on Raw and beat Y2J. Then we had SmackDown and Chris Jericho got one back on AJ. This is the rubber match, unless if they're going to continue the feud into Mania, which I really hope they don't. I'm just putting that one out there. I really hope they don't. I don't think there's much more they can eke out of this rivalry, which is basically just, I don't think you're actually at the WWE standard. Oh, well, I know I am. That's the rivalry. It's really, I don't like AJ. Okay, great. I don't think there's a huge amount that you can do with this rivalry going forward from this point. This is the rubber match, and taking that as my line of thinking, it's going to be going to my man, the phenomenal one. My gloves are over there, so that actually didn't do anything for you. But the phenomenal AJ Styles is who I'm going with in this match. Now, I'm going to save the next 3 matches for after another plug. Because we have DWA to plug. I also have this to plug. Protein shakes, because I've got dry mouth syndrome. Brilliant stuff, that. It tastes like a milkshake, which is good because I like milkshake, but it has none of the side effects. It has precisely... Oh no, it does have something. It does have 0.2 grams of fat per the bottle. That's really nothing. But that, essentially, if you're walking the long and narrow path to studliness, this USN Core Series protein shakes, ready to drink protein shakes are quite good. They're very, very good. Anyway, DWA this time. It's DWA. And this show will be happening on March the 5th at Heathcote Hall in Tiverton. And I will, by the way, every show that I link, I've been talking about, there will be links to those companies in the description after this show has finished going live. And the first match I have to announce for you will be the Lionheart, Eddie Ryan versus Josh Knott. Plymouth-born Eddie Ryan will once again return to DWA, and he's a very technically proficient wrestler with a never-say-die attitude. And he's going to be taking on the Exeter-born and original DWA training school product, Josh Knott. That's right, Josh Knott was trained at DWA, who was once a fan favorite, but he's now back for the other side. He's not so fan friendly anymore as old Josh Knott. So I'm expecting the fan favorite to be Eddie Ryan in that one. So that's your first match, and we've got another one coming up here. Oh boy, we have the pretty boy Danny Walsh taking on the savior JD Knight. Again, Danny is making his return to DWA. I mean, this is the whole return of DWA. And he was previously a member of the Pretty Marvelous tag team with his brother, who was originally going to be my guest tonight, Marvelous Mark Walsh. And yes, he will be taking on JD Knight. And it's only going to be JD's second appearance for DWA. So that's interesting. And no doubt he'll be looking to cement his place as one of the most dominant performers they've ever had. So that should be a good match. That should be... Oh, hello. Hello. So next up is a tag team open challenge match. That sounds interesting. It's the Winners and Sinners open challenge. Okay, so these two guys were a tag team the last time DWA were around. And the sinner part of this tag team is... Make sure I get this name correctly. It's the Downtown Sinner, Marcus Bain, after he turned his back on the Magnums. The Magnums aren't actually scheduled to be in attendance, but these two guys will be. And Marcus Bain's tag team partner is the winner, PJ Jones. Now, if you want to hear how that winner quote is done properly, you can also go back to my previous episode of the podcast. That's Wrestlecast, episode 3, with the winner, PJ Jones, where he plugs he plugs himself the return to Tiverton, and he also plugs the return of the DWA training school. So, if you want to know more about DWA, and if you want to know more about the winner who will be in this tag team match, you can go to Wrestlecast episode 3 and find out a whole bunch of good stuff. Now, this isn't a match as such, but the UK Dominator is coming back to DWA. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the UK Dominator, he has a set of rules which he wants everybody to follow. And if you do not follow his rules, you will be punished most severely. Now, unfortunately, there is somebody who has been breaking these rules a lot. And that is the rocker John Harding. Now, John Harding will be at DWA on March 5th as an MC. He's not actually scheduled for a match. He is going to be guest announcing for the show. But the UK Dominator, well, last Saturday he slapped the promoter of CPW, Terry Speller, in the face. So if you think that being an MC is going to keep John Harding safe from the UK Dominator, you'd be wrong. Because it's not going to keep him safe from the UK Dominator. Also making a return is the man who was going to be my guest this evening, Marvelous Mark Walsh. And I was going to actually ask him about this, but I can't, because he's not here because of his computer, which is a shame. But Marvelous Mark Walsh will be making his return to DWA with a new attitude where he seems to think he's better than his brother, and he wants to prove it. And your main event, the man who started it all, the originator of DWA, the man who brought the company to light, is former NXT superstar, the physical specimen Joel Redman, taking on Charlie Garrett in a DWA Devon Trophy match. Now, Joel Redman is your defending champion for this match. And, yeah, Joel Redman, the founder of the company, in action. That is DWA, March 5th in Tiverton at Heathcote Hall. That's going to be one to watch. And like I say, everything I plug will be in the description below. Anyway, let's go back to WWE Fastlane. See how I did that there? I kept something in reserve, so we weren't just doing plugs. That is what we call pacing of a show, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, we're back to Fastlane now. And the next match is the WWE Intercontinental title match with the two-time defending champion Kevin Owens taking on Dolph Ziggler. I think it would be a little bit ridiculous to put the title on Owens and then just have him lose it a week later. That said, just look at the Kalisto and now Alberto Del Rio rivalry, so who knows? The ridiculous might happen. But even so, Kevin Owens is getting popular with the crowd, with both as a bad guy and as a good guy. You know, the crowd just like Kevin Owens. I think the crowd are getting a bit bored of Dolph Ziggler constantly being this mid-card Cena. So I'm thinking they're going to go with Owens on that one. That's what I think. I think it'll be Kevin Owens. And then we have the WWE Divas title match. And that's going to be Charlotte versus Brie Bella. This is the match actually I'm most torn about, actually. Because on the one hand, I've heard that the potential plan for Mania, and it sounds good. But on the other hand, Daniel Bryan retired, and if they really want to get Brie Bella established as one of the top divas, this would be the time to do it. And yet we already know that Brie Bella wants to go and have children. I still think it's going to be Charlotte. See, now here's what I would do if I was WWE. Charlotte wins this with the help of her dad, Ric Flair. That's what I think should happen here. And what then will happen at Mania is this. Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch join the feud. Paige rejoins the feud with the help of Saraya Knight, her mother, to cancel out the Ric Flair factor. And also, Brie Bella sticks in the feud. So you have a 5-way feud for the title. Now, Brie Bella is going to stick in the feud, and it's going to have Daniel Bryan in her corner to counteract the Flair factor. That's what I would do. at the end of the day, I think it's going to be Charlotte. That's the way I see this one going. Could be wrong on that, but doubt it. I think Charlotte's the one who they seem to be going with a lot at the moment. So I'm just going to say it's Charlotte. Anyway, this is main event time. It's Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. Winner goes on to face Triple H for the world title at WrestleMania 32. Are we in any doubt here? Are we really in any doubt? Let's be honest. The whole thing, it's been built for months now. It's Roman Reigns versus Triple H for the title at Mania, with Roman Reigns having his crowning pride and glory moment. It's just obvious. That's just the way I see it. I cannot envisage either of those two guys walking out of that match with the win. I just do not see it happening. I would prefer it if they did, but they won't. It's just that's just the way of it. They just won't. WWE has this sort of mindset lately where they have who they want to win, and even if you don't want them to win, well, doesn't matter. We're going to go with it anyway. So I'm going to go with Roman Reigns, faces Triple H at Mania, wins. And that's Fastlane. That's my predictions. So, one last show to plug. It's PWA. And it's the British Grand Prix on the 27th of March. And that is going to be at the Plymouth School of Creative Arts. They've moved out of Stonehouse Creek Leisure Centre. So it's the Plymouth School of Creative Arts, and this show again is shaping up to be pretty awesome. We have a women's match. It's a triple threat women's match. It's going to be Adira versus Violet O'Hara versus Katie Price. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I really am. With Adira in the ring, I can be guaranteed it's going to be a physical affair. Let's just put it that way. And then you have a singles match. It's going to be... now, I'm going to have to be careful. I think I'm pronouncing this right. Sami Zayn versus JD Knight. Sami Zayn is quite a big lad, but he has a picture-perfect moonsault on him, and he's going up against the brawler JD Knight. That should be an interesting match. I'm looking... Yeah, again, that's going to be an interesting one. That's going to be fun to watch. Then you have a tag team match. It's going to be the Elite, Jason King, and my original guest for this evening, Marvelous Mark Walsh versus the Bristol Boys. Having seen the Elite quite a lot lately, I can't help but get excited about the prospect of watching the Elite wrestle. And then you have the actual British Grand Prix itself. These are the semi-finals. It's Josh Knott versus Grayson Reeves and Eddie Ryan versus Krieger. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I'm actually not sure how that works. I don't know if it's the winner of the two matches then face each other, and then the winner of that goes on to the next event, which I'll announce, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Or if it's like a beat the clock type of thing where you have to win quicker than the upper guy. But either way, the matches that we know are Eddie Ryan versus Krieger, the 7-foot Krieger, and Josh Knott versus Grayson Reeves. So yeah, you got some two quality matches there, and the winner of the tournament will be challenging John Harding for the British Championship at the 7th anniversary show. And then you have your main event of the evening. Oh yes, it's a 6-man tag team main event. John Harding, Danny Walsh, and Max Alexander versus Tyler Hawk, the winner PJ Jones. I'm going to do that every time I announce him. You know that, right? I hope you don't get annoyed with that because it's going to happen a lot. And the UK Dominator. And that is your 6-man tag team main event. John Harding, Danny Walsh, Max Alexander versus Tyler Hawk. The winner, PJ Jones and the UK Dominator. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be an awesome show. And like I say, Plymouth School of Creative Arts on the 27th of March, PWA British Grand Prix. That was the card, and that's what you're going to want. It's just, I must admit, whenever I talk about like the local shows these days, I just look at like the program, like the schedule. I mean, I see stuff like Danny Walsh versus Jack Union, and I'm like, yes. I see Jason King defending his LEP championship, and I'm like, yes. And I think you get the picture. It's just, the local scene at the moment down here, the southwest of England, is awesome. It really is. It's an awesome, awesome place for wrestling right now. And it's awesome if guys can get behind it, because it really is cool. And not only are the shows getting better, so are the training facilities, because I've plugged them all before in great detail. So I'm just going to literally run down the names of the training places this time, because I want to try and keep this podcast a bit short, because it's just me, and I know listening to me talk for a half an hour, 40 minutes now is a tough ask. It is a tough ask without anybody else's voices breaking it up. So I'm just going to tell you the names, briefly detail them. So, first one starting down here in Cornwall, it is the CPW Boot Camp series, which runs every fortnight, and that's at the Penrith Academy in St. Austell. Like I say, fortnightly, CPW Boot Camp. And then if you live in Plymouth, you have the PWA Academy, which runs out of Elite Fitness in Plymouth with your head trainer, John Harding. That runs every Sunday at 9 o'clock. That's 9 a.m. Again, it's brilliant. And then you've got DWA starting back up. I don't know if they've restarted just yet, but PJ said keep an eye out on their Facebook and on their Twitter, and you will hear the latest whenever they get it. When they get it, you will have it. And then you have LEP, which is my, if you're picking your poison, this is my poison of choice. It's LEP Wrestling Academy in Torquay on Abbey Road every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Tuesday and Thursday is 7 o'clock, and Sunday is, forgotten time, off the top of my head, it's 1 o'clock. And yeah, that's LEP with your head trainer, Danny Walsh. It's just a great place to be. You get in the ring every Tuesday and Thursday. Invaluable fitness, in-ring training, the lot. So they are the 4 main training schools in the area. If I receive details about any others, I will be letting you know. So yeah, that'll be awesome. And that's also your show for tonight, because I literally was hoping this would be short, and it's gone longer than I thought it was going to. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the show tonight. I know I announced on Facebook and Twitter that I was going to have Marvelous Mark Walsh here tonight, but sadly that couldn't happen. What we will be doing instead, though, is we will be taking a camera on over to the LEP Training Centre, and we will be filming an interview face-to-face, actually probably in the ring. So that'll be awesome. So that'll be a slightly different flavour to the show, rather than doing it live like we have been doing for the last 5 episodes. And if you want to know what I mean by that, you can watch any of the previous episodes of Wrestlecast to find out exactly what I mean. So yeah, that will be done inside the ring. We will have Marvelous Mark Walsh on the show. Not sure when I'm going to be able to get that footage to you, but next week, I told you I have my ass in gear, and I've actually got a guest already lined up for you. And boy, do I ever. Because, and I'm going to announce it now, so you guys can start submitting your questions at Glen Chun on the Facebook page, on Twitter, Glen_Chun, or even drop me an email, glenchun14@gmail.com. You can send these questions for this next guest over to there, and you're going to want to do that. I'm giving you a whole week in advance to do this, to get your questions to him, because next week my special guest will be none other than the former PWA, LEP, MC, and current owner of CPW. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I will have Terry Speller on the show next week. So if you have any questions for Terry Speller, the owner of CPW, you can submit your questions once again to Glen A. Chun on Facebook, that's a like page, Glen_Chun on Twitter, or email them to me at glenchun14@gmail.com. All that remains for me to say now, ladies and gentlemen, is thank you very much for watching. I'm happy you've managed to stick with us throughout the whole show. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. I hope you join me again next week for the show of Terry Speller. Thank you for watching. Enjoy Fastlane, everybody, and good night.